And now for the keynote address, I'd like to invite on stage Minister of Economy, Yang Berhormat Rafizi Ramli. Dipersilakan, Yang Berhormat.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Yang Berhormat Saudara Nik Nazmi Nik Ahmad, Minister of Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change. Yang berbahagia Datuk Nur Azmi Dirun, Secretary General, Ministry of Economy. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar, Chairman Bursa Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Datuk Sri Awang Adi Hussein, Chairman of Securities Commission. Yang berbahagia Datuk Muhammad Umar Swift, CEO of Bursa Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Encik Rashdan Yusof, Chairman of Energy Commission. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Sri Zamzam Raini Mama Isa, Chairman Maybank Berhad. Yang berbahagia Datuk Khairul Saleh Ramli, Group President and CEO of Maybank. Ms. Kate Lim, Country Head CLSA Malaysia. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Moments like this do not happen often. A global crisis that demands urgent and serious action, an impetus to act that lies in the hands of a reformist government with political will, and a real opportunity for Malaysia to seize its one shot to be a regional powerhouse. Our economy has not changed much for the past 10 to 15 years. Our industry base is stuck in the middle, snared by the bottom of countries taking away our low-cost advantage and struggling to reach higher in the value chain to compete with more advanced economies. Our talents have migrated elsewhere to compete better, and our country is more accustomed to following the crowd than leading it. In the first month of assuming office at the Ministry of Economy, one of my main tasks was to find an area of focus that would combine our existing strengths, take advantage of global megatrends, and fundamentally transform how our economy works. The launch of the National Energy Transition Roadmap today marks that important change in our thinking. It is not only a document that contains interim measures to meet our net zero target, but it is a combination of strategies and initiatives that could transform our economy, livelihoods, and our place in the world. After months of engagement, brainstorming, and securing final commitments, we will unveil phase 1 of the NETR that contains 10 flagship catalyst initiatives that will define policy thinking and economic direction in years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, the NETR would help us transform our economy by opening up profitable ventures that are good for the environment and good for the economy. Our ability to continuously rely on finite oil and gas resources is diminishing. Frequent price shocks and structural decline in the fossil fuel industry has made it harder for us to treat oil and gas as Malaysia's be-all and end-all. For the past few years, our investments into renewable energy have lagged behind our peers. Southeast Asian counterparts that started their RE projects much later than ours have matched or even exceeded our installed capacity today. A key reason for this is because past administrations have not made the RE industry a sufficiently profitable venture for businesses to undertake. In fact, a race to the bottom was normally how the industry was structured in the past. NETR is this administration's effort to change the economics of RE so that we could rapidly scale up our installed capacity with the right infrastructure and technology. 2 months ago, the Ministry of Economy and it's very difficult to pronounce NEC's ministry, NRECC. I prefer to call it NREC, but they don't like it. It's wrecking something. 2 months ago, my ministry and NREC made a few pivotal policy decisions that actually went under the radar. First, we lifted the export ban of RE with the purpose of increasing the potential yield that could be obtained by companies that participate in this transition. Second, we announced the establishment of a central electricity exchange that will be operated by a single market aggregator to ensure prices are fair and transparent. And to double down on our commitment, we even stretched our RE installed capacity targets by nearly 2 times, from 40% to 70% by 2050. The NETR launch today puts these policies in motion by introducing 10 wide-ranging catalytic initiatives that will open up investment opportunities between 435 billion ringgit to 1.85 trillion ringgit by 2050. One of these projects is the integrated RE zone that will be championed by Khazanah Nasional Berhad and carried out through a joint venture between UEM and ITRAMAS. At 1 gigawatt, this hybrid solar photovoltaic power plant is the largest of its kinds in Southeast Asia, and if I'm not mistaken, it's number 8 in the world by capacity. The scale of our ambition has attracted high-profile global investments from major economic blocs totaling 6 billion ringgit, and that MOU shall be inked today. NETR also opens up the hydrogen pathway in Sarawak as it implements rounds of projects to emerge as the hydrogen hub in the country and put in place the framework of CCS, carbon capture and storage, so that catalyst projects could be implemented in these 2 years. We will continue to take advantage of the declining technology costs in RE and build first-mover advantage in nascent levers as we move our investment into these high-growth, high-value areas. Ladies and gentlemen, beyond this, we have also come to recognize that if we want to affect change at the national scale, we would only succeed if our policies touch people's lives on a day-to-day basis. Currently, the people who adopt clean solutions do so out of altruism and goodwill. Convincing a family of 4 to buy and install a solar panel at their rooftop for 20,000 ringgit at least, that's the cheapest investment. It's still very difficult to convince normal Malaysian families to fork out that amount of money. Understanding the science and data of energy transition is also out of reach to many who do not share the same sense of urgency as those who have spent decades in the utility sector. NETR is designed to break that mold and make clean energy a financially relevant option to most households today. We are turning it upside down. Instead of asking every household to pay for an expensive solar panel, we are offering an income opportunity. In every home, we intend to give households the option to lease out their rooftops in return for a monthly income that could lower their electricity bills and put more cash in their pockets. And I was very glad that SIMW Property came forward and in full support of this initiative, which they will share into this session. The government is taking the lead on this by allocating so far this year 80 million ringgit and more in the coming years for solar panels to be installed on the rooftops of government buildings. We are also changing our old practices internally at the government level, where we will no longer penalize government agencies because previously, when an agency took the initiative to install solar panel, their operational budget will be cut because it means that they incur less for electricity. So eventually it cancels each other out, Government departments say, there's no point for me to go through this because what it does is basically my allocation will be cut. So we are also changing that so that we won't deduct their budget from electricity savings, so that that budget hopefully can go for something else and that goes directly to the people. Soon, our vision is we would like to see solar panels installed nationwide, covering offices, factories, multi-purpose halls, mosques, and all types of buildings. To raise this consciousness further, Malaysians could also contribute used cooking oil and waste as feedstock for the biomass and biofuels as an energy lever under NETR. Outside the homes, NETR will also be felt on the road. 10,000 charging stations will be installed along highways and commercial buildings by 2050, and the first and last mile of public transport will also be electrified so that we travel with cleaner energy. With increased investments stimulated by NETR, more well-paying and high-value jobs will also be created. The first phase of NETR alone is estimated to bring about 23,000 high-impact jobs. That means more families could afford a more comfortable and secure life, giving better education to their children and better care to their parents. Working parents in clean energy jobs would also feel more fulfilled at impactful jobs that safeguards our children's future. These are not just plans, these are policies in motion. Ladies and gentlemen, but there is one last thing. As a nation, we are used to falling behind and lagging behind. And when others pace ahead, we rarely think about how we could be the ones leading others instead. With NETR, however, there is a real opportunity for us to lead Southeast Asia as the regional powerhouse in RE, but only if we dare to seize it. We have many existing advantages that set us up in a good state. Our age-old advantage of a strategic location that connects the north and south of the 687 million Southeast Asian and the Western and Eastern economic blocs becomes important once again as logistic cost for RE transfer is a deciding factor. Years of operating an open trading economy has also made us accommodative and hospitable to many, such that we are resilient and adaptable to geopolitical changes and different partners. Our talent pool is also mature, with years of enviable infrastructure building experience that puts us in a better position than our peers. In fact, unbeknownst to many, Malaysia is ranked first in Southeast Asia, second in emerging Asia, and 35th in the world on the most recent Energy Transition Index 2023 by the World Economic Forum. That means our current systems would prepare us well to make the transition in a comfortable, just, and inclusive manner. Around us, we are also seeing greater convergence and cooperation in Southeast Asia that did not exist before. The use of a special economic zone, such as the one proposed between Johor and Singapore that we are working on now, will also become increasingly common as Southeast Asian leaders understand that we are stronger as one economic unit than in separate parts. Malaysia is a key member of the Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore Power Integration Project, the pathfinder to advance cross-border power trade among ASEAN member states and to advance the ambition of an ASEAN power grid. The global rush to clean technology is also evident, exceeding $1.1 trillion in 2022, overtaking investments in other technologies, and we are at the cusp where the wind blows under our wings. That is why NETR is not just another policy document. It represents a different way of thinking about our economy and livelihoods, and also a real opportunity to find our place in the world and in this region. As we put the pieces together, leading to the launch of the phase 2 of NETR, sometime by end of August, we will be working with you to implement projects that are both good for the environment and good for the economy. The scale of reforms that we shall put in place has only happened once or twice in our nation's history. I hope we can continue to believe in the promise of this country and take a chance on doing our parts to rebuild better. Thank you very much for taking your time to attend our launch today. And, for the first few times in the last 6 months, I'm actually quite excited to see what the future holds for Malaysia. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat. Can I invite you to remain on stage for the act of the launch? And to join YB Rafizi, may I invite Yang Berhormat Nik Nazmi Nik Ahmad, Datuk Nur Azmi bin Duron, Secretary General of the Ministry of Economy, and from Bursa Malaysia, Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar and Datuk Muhammad Omar Swift. And with that, we are pleased to invite Yang Berhormat Rafizi Ramli, Minister of Economy, to launch the NETR and Part 1 of Flagship Catalyst projects and initiatives. Yang Berhormat, on my count of 3, please activate the launch by placing your hand on the device. Now counting down from 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Young Berhormat. We will now capture the milestone with a group photo together with a digital copy of the NETR. Thank you, Young Berhormat, Tan Sri, and Dato. If you could kindly make your way back to your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, you can access and download a copy of the National Energy Transition Roadmap through the QR code at the back of your event tags.